Hi, Ashley here from Demio. Just wanted to provide a few tips and tricks here for driving participation and engagement in your webinar. The goal of our webinars are to turn our webinar attendees into participants. And in order to do that, it's our responsibility as the webinar presenter to initiate that participation. And here's 4 ways to do it. Tip number 1. Use the chat more than just asking where everyone is from. We see that a lot at the beginning of webinars. The very simple, hey, tell me where you're from in the chat, but then presenters never touch the chat again. Instead, encourage your audience to use chat as their home base, to continue to ask questions over the course of the webinar, and to answer questions from one another. Allow them to use chat to really engage with one another and to contribute to the presentation. Tip number 2, provide handouts throughout the entire webinar, not just at the end. Use assets like PDFs and pictures. Give them to your audience in order to help drive validation and evidence for your talking points, and to help extend the value of your webinar for your attendees well after the live event is over. Tip number 3, use featured actions to make it easy for your attendees to take the next step. Featured actions can be executed at any point during your webinar and make it super easy for your attendees to take the next step in their journey with you. Easily share a URL that pushes them to your free trial or your offer. Don't make them search for it. Show them where it is with a featured action. And finally, use polls to personalize the webinar content. Use polls to actually drive the content of the webinar itself. Understand what your audience needs. Ask questions, and then choose how to use that information to actually drive what you're going to talk about next. These are simply some tips and tricks to help you drive participation in your webinar to make sure that it is engaging for you and your attendees.